Welcome back to The Real Truth. I'm Ro, and with me is Alex. We're going to deep dive today again back to the 1980s, specifically between 1981 and 1991. We're calling it the decade of transformative, so the transformative decade, where the government, resource, and finance start doing some wild choreography. So my co-host and me, Alex, are we going to break it down? Are you pumped? How are you feeling today?
Absolutely. The 80s are iconic, aren't they? Reagan, the Cold War, big money moves. So let's kick off with Reaganomics in 1981.
Perfect. So Reaganomics sets the stage. Reaganomics and the government's role in 1981. I want to start from there.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go. Let's dive deep from the Reaganomics point of view.
Okay, so Reaganomics. Supply side economics hits in 1981. The government slashes taxes. The top rate drops from 70% to 28% and deregulates like crazy. The idea? Boost finance by giving businesses and investors more cash. But here's the catch. Military spending explodes because of the Cold War. It triples the national debt.
The national debt is something of a huge talk of concern at the times now as well. So this is probably the time where it started building up, the Cold War era. And the government's stepping back. So the government's stepping back on taxes,
Mm-hmm.
pumping resources into defense. How's the finance industry feeling about all this?
Well, finance loves it. Wall Street's partying. Cocaine's flowing. The stock market booms. But inequality shoots up too.
Right.
Resources is getting sucked into the military. Especially with tech programs like Reagan's Star Wars,
Yeah.
missile defense. The missile defense system that was meant to protect America from, ICBMs from the Soviet Union, and they named it after the film. Government at the moment is all about security.
So definitely, finance gets a sugar rush, and the resources definitely go to military for the Cold War. Debt is piling up because of this. What's the next beat?
Well, the next beat is the recession, 1981 to 82.
There we have it. So we get the recession hit. Unemployment spiked, I think, to 11% at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to talk about how these three kind of collided together, Alex. I want to dig deep onto that. What do you think?
Right, so it's complete chaos, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Federal Reserve, the money arm of the government, they jack up interest rates to crush 1970s inflation. Finance is getting squeezed. Borrowing is pricey, so businesses they get the line of credit cut, so they freeze. But Reagan's tax cuts are pushing growth. It's kind of government versus government. Resources, manufacturing tanks, energy and materials, those markets crash too.
So government's tightening on tightening finance with rates. They're loosening it with cuts.
Mm-hmm.
Resources are getting hammered either way. But something else does spark in 81, and we are living what sparked with this spark till today. So,
Yep.
am I right?
The IBM PC lands in 1981. The PC, the foundation of our modern world. 1981 kickstarts the computer revolution. Government's not in the driving seat, but finance is jumping in. Digital banking, the new style of banking is coming in. Resources are now shifting into silicon and tech metals.
Yeah. So, governments definitely. Finance and resources nudge towards tech, but the Cold War is still the hot topic of discussion at that point. Everybody's concern was the Cold War.
Oh yeah, the government is still obsessed with beating the Soviets,
Mm-hmm.
pouring resources into defense. The military-industrial complex is just alive and well during this period. And then in 1989, everybody knows what happens. The Berlin Wall falls. In 1991, Soviet Union's done, military spending eases. Now finance is trying to eye new markets in the former Soviet Union areas like Eastern Europe. Resources, oil and gas, they open up big time.
So all that's happening, we have the government again pivoting, finance is finally global now, and the resources are spreading out. So let's wrap this up to 91 and let's connect the dots on how government resource and finance at the end of 91, what really happened.
It's a bit of a domino effect, you know. Reaganomics juices finance, it locks resources into defense. The recession shows that government and finance are, in fact, at odds. Rates versus cuts. Resources shrink. Tech pulls kind of the resources quietly, and the end of the Cold War flips it. The government relaxes, finance expands, and resources go wide. It's all connected. A tiny move changes everything.
Love it, Alex. So I hope our listeners got a picture of what's really catapulting here, what's transforming in this decade entirely, and what's going to happen in the next subsequent decade. So stay tuned to find out more about the next decade. If you like what we're talking about, please feel free to subscribe, share, and catch us on the 90s episode. Peace out. Thank you.